to buy homes cheaply based on the financing costs. Now that's disappearing, and so the overvaluation that I sense, and that may be a function and recorded by studies such as Robert Schiller, would suggest maybe a 15 to 20% overvaluation at this point.
Yeah, I respect you because you certainly do. You never shy away from however you see things happening. How did the Fed go so much further than you thought? And do you still think that, I don't know, what were you on record as? 4 rate cuts by the end of the year? Is that still going to happen?
Well, I think the second half is the point in time where the Fed starts to cut rates, and partly because, not entirely because, but partly because of the housing problem. The Fed doesn't want to see home prices go down, perhaps by anything more than 5%. According to some studies already, they're down by 2 to 3% nationally, but they don't want to recreate a situation such as they have witnessed in Japan, where property declined and you saw an asset bubble popping and producing deflation. So, if we get down to a point where prices are moving in the 5 to 10% negative category, the Fed's going to start to react, and I think that's probably in the second half of this year.
I was thinking, if you're 20% housing, if they fell 20%, your Dow forecast might come true. I mean, that would hurt. I mean, what would happen if housing prices?
He's just determined to be right no matter what.
Yeah, but if housing, if that really, and what you're saying is all the subprime people that are going to have to sell, not only are they going to have to sell, but they're going to be selling to people that can't get the subprime deals anymore, right? So there's going to be this flood of houses that no one can unload, and hence the 20%.
Well, I think that's possible. Home prices, again, are a function of financing costs and the price of the home. To the extent that financing costs come down, say they came down 20%, and if we're talking a 6% fixed rate 30-year mortgage, that would mean perhaps 5% on mortgages, then the price of the home doesn't have to come down. So it's a delicate combination between financing costs and home prices, and if financing costs and the Fed lower interest rates by 50 to 75 basis points, then they support the housing market.
Bill Gross, I have Wilbur Ross wants to ask you a question.
Hi, Bill.
Okay.
My question is this. The subprime and the Alt-A, as far as I can tell, are mostly in the very low-priced houses, the few $100,000. Why would a spillover of defaults and inability to pay there affect the middle and the higher-end things?
Well, it's all tied together, as you probably know. I had a theory way back when called the plankton theory, which suggested that the whales in the ocean are dependent upon the small plankton in terms of their ability to survive. It's the same thing in the housing market. The low end supports the middle end, which supports the high end, and when you have the low end come down, then you have a sag in all houses.
Hey, Bill, let me ask you another thing. I was just thinking in terms of, a lot of people say we never should have inflated this subprime bubble to the extent that we have. In fact, they're saying that liquidity that's awash everywhere should have never gotten to this point because we forgot about risk. You really want the Fed to bring rates down so that all this liquidity stays out there, we reflate the subprime mess, and even more people that shouldn't own homes get into homes? Is that the right move for the Fed?
Well, I don't think 50 basis points in terms of a cut, Joe, does that. I mean, subprimes were financed at 1% and 2% teaser rates, which are a thing of the past, and so if the Fed were to lower interest rates to 4 3/4 or 4.5%, the subprimes are not going to be financed like they were. They're going to be at LIBOR plus types of rates, perhaps 5 and 6%. So the subprimes are dinosaurs and things of the past.
All right.
That made Wilbur's eyes open up there. Whoa!
So glad to have you on, Bill. And
thanks for the pick-me-up.
Yeah. But founder of PIMCO, how much you have under managed? I mean, it's ridiculous to even talk about it. So whatever you say, I'm gonna worry about it for, I don't know, at least the next 3 or 4 months. So we'll see you soon. Okay, Bill.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Nice to see you.
All right. Still to come this morning. Not one, not two.